Never talk shit to Mike ever again in life. I seen him at All-Star, apologize, hey, man, you know I was fucking, man.
Kevin Garnett built one of the fiercest reputations in NBA history through intensity, intimidation, and non-stop trash talk. Across 21 seasons, the former MVP, champion, and Defensive Player of the Year challenged virtually everyone he faced, from Tim Duncan to Dirk Nowitzki and countless other stars. That is why stories about Garnett deliberately avoiding verbal battles with Michael Jordan resonate so strongly among basketball fans and former players. Jordan's reputation inside the league extended far beyond statistics or championships with the Chicago Bulls. Opponents frequently described him as someone who treated even the smallest perceived disrespect as fuel, turning trash talk or competitive tension into relentless focus. Former players have often repeated the same unwritten rule. Once Jordan felt challenged personally, the game could shift from competition into something far more punishing. That is what makes Garnett's admission notable. Coming from one of the most aggressive psychological competitors the sport has ever seen, it reinforces the mythology surrounding Jordan's mentality. The story is less about fear in a literal sense and more about the respect players had for Jordan's ability to elevate his intensity whenever he felt provoked. Kevin Garnett always viewed trash talk as more than entertainment. To him, it was a weapon designed to mentally break opponents before the game was even decided. That is why his story about Michael Jordan stands out so much. During his rookie season with the Minnesota Timberwolves, Garnett was finally gaining confidence while teammate Isaiah Rider was having a strong game in Chicago, and with dozens of people from his neighborhood in the crowd, Kilogram started feeding into the energy and talking. But what he learned that night was the same lesson countless players discovered over Jordan's career. Once Jordan felt challenged or disrespected, the game changed completely. Opponents did not fear him because he talked louder than everyone else. They feared him because he turned every comment into fuel and responded with a level of focus and punishment that few athletes in sports history could match.
I was just like, keep killing that nigga, yo. You killing that nigga, boning him, yo, straight up. You having a good game, Joe. Keep going.
Kevin Garnett described it as the moment the entire atmosphere changed. What started as pure energy from a confident young player feeding off the crowd and supporting teammate Isaiah Rider instantly became something else the second Michael Jordan heard the comment. Garnett has said he felt it before he even turned around. That shift every player in the league recognized when Jordan decided something had become personal. That was the lesson veterans already knew. Against most players, trash talk stayed verbal. Against Jordan, it became motivation. And once he locked into that mindset, the game stopped feeling competitive and started feeling like punishment.
Hands on hips, legs locked. Then look. The nigga stared at me for about 15 seconds.
Kevin Garnett recognized the stare immediately because every player in the league knew what it meant when Michael Jordan looked at you that way. The switch had flipped. What had been normal trash talk seconds earlier suddenly carried consequences. Garnett later admitted he had a chance to let it go, laugh it off, or move on before things escalated, but instead he leaned further into it, feeding the challenge instead of backing away. And that was the mistake. Players feared Jordan not because he talked the loudest, but because once he felt personally challenged, he responded with a level of focus and aggression that could completely take over the game. 4 Kilogram, one of the fiercest competitors basketball has ever seen, that night became a first-hand lesson in why veterans across the NBA treated provoking Jordan like playing with fire.
Now I'm in here, I got 7. Keep killing this nigga. Keep it up.
Isaiah Rider reportedly understood the danger immediately and tried to calm Kevin Garnett down before things escalated, but Garnett was a rookie overwhelmed by confidence cheering for him from the crowd. In that moment, he felt untouchable. Then Michael Jordan shifted into what Kilogram later described as the back leg, a posture players around the league recognized as the warning sign that Jordan had taken something personally and was about to raise the intensity to another level. What made the story unforgettable for Garnett was not a single play, but the next several minutes of basketball. According to KG's retelling, Jordan completely took control of the game emotionally and competitively, turning a normal matchup into a personal statement. For Garnett, it became a lesson shared by many players from that era. Once Jordan locked into that mindset, the entire rhythm of the game could change in a matter of possessions.
I can't even really describe the next 6 to 7 minutes of play, y'all. In this next 6 to 7 minutes of play, y'all, we get 2, not 1, 2 10-second calls. We down 25 now. It was just at 2. Mike had 18. He had 40 now.
Kevin Garnett did not describe the experience like a normal loss. He described it like psychological destruction. In a matter of minutes, a close game reportedly spiraled into chaos after Michael Jordan took the challenge personally. According to Garnett's retelling, Jordan exploded offensively, the Chicago Bulls suffocated the Minnesota Timberwolves defensively, and the entire momentum of the game collapsed so completely that Minnesota could barely even organize its offense. Kilogram later explained that by the time he returned to the bench, the damage was not physical fatigue. It was the realization that one moment of trash talk had awakened a level of competitive focus he had never experienced before. That was the lesson veterans across the league already understood about Jordan. Against most players, trash talk stayed part of the game. Against him, it could turn the next few minutes into a personal punishment.
And they know this. When you come and you've been on the run, when you not got back on the floor, got back, had to rebound, and you feel like you on defense all the time, you come to the bench like this.
Kevin Garnett said the moment that stayed with him most was not even the scoring run itself. It was what happened afterward, when Michael Jordan walked past the bench slowly and deliberately, fully aware that the game had already been decided mentally before the final buzzer ever sounded. Jordan did not need a long speech or dramatic celebration. His presence alone carried the message. For Garnett, that was the real lesson of the night. Jordan's greatest weapon was not only talent or athleticism, but the way he could turn a perceived challenge into total psychological control over a game and everyone inside it.
I'm sorry. He like, it's cool, man. I told you, just shut your ass up, man. You're not fun.
Kevin Garnett later admitted that after that night, he never talked trash around Michael Jordan again. That is the part of the story that makes it legendary. One of the fiercest competitors and most relentless trash talk single experience against Jordan. Kilogram realized that what made Jordan different was not just the scoring, the championships with the Chicago Bulls, or the highlights people replay forever. It was the psychological pressure he created once he felt challenged. Garnett understood that against most players, trash talk was part of the game. Against Jordan, it became dangerous because he treated every perceived slight like fuel. And for Kilogram, that night in Chicago became a permanent reminder that some competitors do not just beat you on the scoreboard. They change the way you compete afterward.
And Mike came down. Okay, young fella. Okay, damn, young fella. Damn, y'all done? Damn, y'all.
Kevin Garnett understood after that night that trash talk was never really about noise. It was about control. For 2 decades, he used words the same way elite defenders use positioning, to create hesitation, frustration, doubt, and emotional cracks in opponents before the game was even decided physically. But his experience with Michael Jordan taught him there are certain competitors who cannot be mentally moved because they already operate at a level beyond intimidation. Garnett realized Jordan did not react emotionally to trash talk the way most players did. He absorbed it, converted it into focus, and redirected it back with even greater force. That lesson fundamentally shaped how Kilogram approached the mental side of basketball afterward. He became more calculated, more selective, understanding that psychological warfare only works if the person across from you can actually be shaken. And in his eyes, Jordan was the one player in the league whose mind simply could not be reached that way.
Never talk shit to Mike ever again in life. Then I apologize to JR. My fault, man.
Michael Jordan taught Kevin Garnett that psychological warfare in basketball only works if the person across from you can actually be broken by it. Kilogram realized most players made the same mistake. They talked because emotion took over, not because they fully understood the consequences once the challenge became personal. Against Jordan, there was no hesitation, no loss of focus, no intimidation factor that could shift him mentally. If anything, trash talk only sharpened him further. That is why Garnett later viewed the experience as more than a bad night or a scoring explosion from the Chicago Bulls star. It became a permanent lesson about choosing targets carefully in the NBA's mental battles, because once Jordan decided to respond, he responded with a level of competitive force that very few players in basketball history were capable of surviving.
The first thing about trash talking is I would actually consider who was talking the trash, and then if they had the ability to back it up to whether I was going to actually engage with somebody.
Tim Duncan completely disrupted Kevin Garnett's approach because he fought the mental game in the exact opposite way from almost everyone else in the league, constantly talking, challenging, and trying to pull opponents into psychological battles. Duncan refused to participate at all. No reactions, no anger, no visible frustration, almost no emotional openings to attack. That silence frustrated Garnett more than any trash talk ever could because it removed the entire battlefield Kilogram norm. For Garnett, that created a different kind of challenge entirely, because psychological warfare loses effectiveness when the other player simply refuses to engage with it.
That's the worst thing you can never do. In trash talking, you have to continue. I told you, there's always two ways to go in trash talking.
No matter what.
And if you decide to continue to trash talk and keep going, you got to keep it up. So the minute I not edge you out and now you not, oh no, you exhausted, you ain't got no more, man. Get this out, this nigga, man.
I see blood.
So right, it's over. I got to step on you, and that's how it usually was.
Kevin Garnett eventually realized that his usual psychological tactics simply did not work against Tim Duncan, which is why he stopped trying to pull him into and emotional control better than almost anyone in the league. To Kilogram, Peyton was not just talking for attention. He was manipulating momentum possession by possession, which is why Garnett referred to him as the true master of the craft.
Believe it or not, y'all, Tim Duncan, shout out to Timmy. Tim Duncan, people would not see him verbally saying stuff because he wasn't talking sentences.
Preach.
Timmy would hit you in phrases. Got you. Nice try. Like subtle shit. No gangster shit. No real hardcore shit. Just subtly to just back your ass.
Gary Payton did not view trash talk as entertainment. According to Kevin Garnett, he used it like a tactical weapon, manipulating momentum, baiting opponents into fouls, disrupting emotions, and controlling the rhythm of games possession by possession through pure psychological pressure. That is why Kilogram called him the master. But what impressed Garnett even more was what happened during an NBA All-Star practice, when Peyton reportedly pulled both Kilogram and Kobe Bryant aside and spent nearly 30 minutes breaking down the details of elite defense, teaching positioning, timing, angles, and mental discipline. For Garnett, it revealed that beneath all the talking was one of the sharpest defensive minds the NBA had ever seen.